Hey everybody, welcome back to Peachy Disc Golf. In today's episode, we are finishing up my first round of a new series we're starting here on Peachy Disc Golf, where I try to shoot under here at the long tees of Chattahoochee Point Park. With a good mix of some good putting and some very lucky drives, we are shooting pretty well right now. So will we keep the train moving? Let's find out in this episode. In our last video, I said that I was planning on starting a new series here in 2024 in order to try to improve my arm speed and just my overall disc golf game by challenging myself a little more and playing the long tees here at Chattahoochee Point Park with the goal to try to get under par by the end of the year. And if you haven't checked out that first video, definitely be sure to do that first, because the video might surprise you a little bit. So that's your sort of spoiler warning if you don't want to know where we're sitting at right now. But right now, starting the back nine at hole 10, we are one under par right now. We managed to get one birdie on the tunnel shot on hole 5 with a very lucky drive that didn't even make it down the tunnel. It snuck its way through onto the right side, and we had a really good putt to get that birdie. So there's a chance that we could meet this goal today. There are a couple of holes that are very bogeyable. Hole 12 comes to mind. Hole 16 and 17 come to mind as well, but there are a couple of holes that may be birdieable. So if we can get a little bit of buffer, there is a chance. There's a slight glimmer of hope. I don't think it's gonna happen, and that'll be good because then we could continue the series on through the year. But let's hit this back nine and see how we shoot. And we're kicking off here at hole 10, 340 feet, par 3. This should be a very easy par. It's just outside of my range for my drive to get there to the basket, but the basket is wide open, very easy shot. The only hazard is the T sign for the short tee in front of us. So I'm gonna go with my lightweight X3 and just throw it as hard as I can off to the right, let it fade back a little bit. Hopefully we just have sort of a nice little jump putt approach to get par. Got a little flip out of that. Off on the right side. Luckily there's no OB. Maybe in some tournaments I've heard that they play the long grass as OB, but nothing on the sign, so we're still good there. Obviously the ideal thing would be to stay on the fairway, but we do have a jump putt approach here. And that's a little tap in for par. So I mentioned that there were a couple of holes that I thought were birdieable, and hole 11 is one of them. It's 295 feet with the basket straight ahead. It does play a little bit downhill, so it's a little shorter. There are some small trees that sort of block the potential hyzer line if you don't give it the right height. But I'm actually gonna go with a more direct shot with one of my straightest fairway drivers, my ESP Undertaker here. Oh, way too wide. Dang. Don't have too far from the basket, but we're just gonna go straight at it sort of with the PA5. I'm not throwing full power, so it should just carry nice and straight for the most part. Oh wow, that was really bad. I should make that putt, but I'm not making it easy for myself. Oh my God, I thought I threw that too high and it was going straight for the band. Oh, my heart is starting to race. I'm letting the nerves get to me for sure. Like, I really didn't think we were gonna be this close. I thought at this point we'd be like 3 or 4 over, and just, you know, I'd be like, hopefully we stay in the single digits. It's getting to me though. Getting a little nervous. Hole 12 is 620 feet, par 4. This hole could go very smoothly with an easy par, or it could be very tricky and I end up with a bogey. From the long tee, we first have to make it through this initial gap, which shouldn't be too much of a problem, but then the distance comes into play. My goal is to try to just sort of end in front of some of the trees that we normally shoot at from the short tee. And if we can get close enough to those gaps being nice and big, then we can just get a nice approach with maybe a fairway driver up to the basket and then jump putt or chip approach for par. We just got to get some good distance off the tee. I'm going with my lightweight X3 here. I'm just trying to chunk off as much distance as I can. That's going to be just fine. So unfortunately, these gaps are still pretty small, so we have some options here. I actually am still talking through myself, which one do I want to do? I think the safer play is to take my FX2, my most overstable fairway, and throwing it through this right gap. Maybe even the Photon would work. and then trying to let it fade back, because that is the biggest gap here. But obviously, if I were to make it through, you could see the basket through it. If we hit something nice and straight, maybe the Undertaker or the servo or something nice and straight through it, that would be almost a guaranteed par. But if we miss and hit one of the trees, that could be dangerous. So looking at it from here, I think I gotta still go with the right gap. I am gonna go FX2 though, because I don't wanna throw too wide and just not let it fade enough and where I'm ended off to the right, because that could still be pretty tricky. I do wanna end in this main field here, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Man, I just don't know. I do need to move this camera though, if I'm going that way, so I don't block you. We're gonna go FX2. I think that's the play. All right, and we're through. It worked out. This is a very makeable distance here, but it's also a very missable one. We do have to make it through a gap to get to the basket, and I really wanted to throw the proxy here, but I'm worried that I will just sort of send it off too far to the right and hit this tree, which is like circle's edge. We don't want to end by that tree. We want to get well past it. So I'm gonna go PA5. Try not to do what I did last time with the PA5. Just get this straight at the basket here. Perfect. Yep, right next to the basket for a tap-in par. Hole 13 is 405 feet, par 3. Definitely another hole that I don't plan on birdieing anytime soon. It does play a little bit downhill though, so just got to chunk off as much distance as we can to have a nice, easy approach. We've been throwing the X3 pretty well, this lightweight one at least. So let's try it again and just try to pump it as far as we can. Okay, we'll have a little chip approach from there. Okay, so we're just outside of what I would say is my jump putt-ish range to get a more of an approach style jump putt here, but just outside of that range. So we're gonna have to go with the throw. I'm gonna go with the 400 PA3. That's so short. Oh no, not this hole. In the past, I would have said my approach game was the best part of my game, but I think that might have been because I was playing very short holes. I'm learning that my approach game is not that amazing. Another long putt. Oh no, the first bogey. Oh no. That might end it right there. I thought it was gonna happen at some point. All right, we're back to even. Hole 14, 270 feet, par 3. This is the last hole that I think I have a chance of birdieing. So we really need to get this one if we want to have a chance still. I do still think we could bogey 16 and 17, so we're not out of the woods if we do birdie it by any means. But the basket is straight ahead. I'm going to be going with my Crave on a little bit of hyzer, try to sort of go above these little trees in front, let it crash in towards the basket. Hopefully we get the distance. Let's see how it goes. Actually, I'm changing it up. I'm going to pull out the bear. Actually, I haven't talked about it much, but I got this sweet bear from Japan. I really love this stamp. That's short. Oh, it's pushing forward. 20 feet, I think, 25. Even worse, the outside circle 2 on a 270 foot shot. I just threw it so soft, I didn't even really commit to it. Hole 15, I have no clue what the distance is. I really hate this pin position. If you've played Chattahoochee Point Park, let me know, what do you think of this pin position? I think it's just too close to the road. My car almost got hit driving in today by someone's drive throwing off to the right. I have no clue what the distance is, but the basket is off to the right here. I'm going with my Photon. I would rather throw my Wave or my X3 here, but I'm afraid of them turning over into the road, so I trust the Photon to come back. Okay. Ooh, close. Tap in there. Hole 16, 295 feet, par 3. Definitely a hole that I think I'm going to be bogeying many times in this series. The basket is on the right side this time, so it's just a very narrow tunnel shot, but there's a good chunk of distance before you even get into the tunnel, so this is going to be a real tricky one. I'm gonna be going with my F7 here on a little bit of hyzer, try to flip it up, maybe ride a little bit off to the right. Let's just see, hopefully, who knows where this is gonna go. This is probably gonna kick somewhere and end up terribly. Turn a little more. Well, we're down in the lower part of the bowl. All right, well, we actually got decent distance into the bowl. We have like a jump putt from the for the left position, but tricky approach here to get a par. Going with the PA5 on a turnover. Just try to float it up there. Okay, I actually might get a par here. That's good to know. Like, as long as I land in the bowl, we have a par attempt for the next time. All right, hole 17 is 350 feet, par 3. The basket is straight ahead. You can see though, just a bunch of narrow little gaps, tight little tunnel, about halfway down the fairway. I would honestly rather end left than end right. It's a little bit thinner over there, and I'm gonna try the resistor again. I think this will be a decent disc for it. If we keep it nice and flat, it'll just carry straight and maybe a little bit of fade to the left at the end. Let's see how it goes. That's gonna end way left though. Okay, we're getting a bogey. It's gonna be very tricky to get a par here. I was thinking of just taking this A3 and trying like a punch off to the right, but keep it high to fade off towards the basket, but I'm pretty sure that will end well short. There is a skinny gap though, right towards the basket, right in between these tall trees. And I think I might try that with an overhand. FX2 overhand here, get this thing out of my way. Might as well go for it, right? Because we're not making a par going the conservative route here. That was not the line I wanted, but it sort of worked. It skipped a little to the right, but I think we have a 20-foot putt there. Another lucky throw. I had a lot of lucky throws, which is the most upsetting thing about not hitting it this time, because I know I'm not gonna have that luck next time. Couldn't make the one putt. My putter has been solid today, but just that one missed putt is all that's standing between me and breaking even on this course. Oh, that's so sad. Last hole, hole 18, 675 feet, par 4. Very manageable par 4, even from the long tee, but I don't think I can get a birdie, unfortunately. I have come decently close on 2 really, really good drives one time, but I don't think it's gonna happen today. The basket is right behind this pine tree at the end of the fairway here, so just got to rip it as hard as I can. Going with the lightweight X3. We do have a little bit of a headwind, so I'm going to put a little bit of hyzer on it, let it flip up. I got to try to give it a little height as well to carry up as much distance as I can, and also give it some time to fight back. Oh, that was nose up. Don't hit that tree. I think I'm past it, but we're not getting that birdie from there. Okay, so I'm going to be going up the left side here on an anhyzer with the wave. Oh God, that twisted my ankle a little. Ugh. Okay, last throw. Hopefully, I'm gonna go with my newly put back in the bag Pyro here. Just hyzer it around the tree. Oh, nice. Wow, that was like a legit run with the Pyro. Just a little past the basket, so I probably got it chain high. But let's get this par. We do have a bit of a windy putt though. Oh, we were so close to hitting it on the very first video. That would have been so funny, just knocking this series out right at the start. But looking on the bright side, we do still have more content at least that we can record in the future. I really had a lot of fun. Honestly, I'm really happy that I even shot even out here on the long tees for my first go. I thought I was gonna shoot pretty close to double digits over par, honestly. In one of my previous videos where I had mentioned that I was planning on shooting a series like this, I actually got a comment from one of you guys saying that I should try the intermediate layout here at Chattahoochee Point Park for my arm speed, and that was a great suggestion. That really has been one of my favorite ways to play here because it's sort of perfect. It's a really, really good layout. So last time I played that, I shot +5. So I was thinking this was gonna be even worse, But here we are, shooting even. So this was a pretty good baseline as well, because now I sort of know what holes I should attack, which holes I should play a little more conservative and really just try to make sure to hit the gaps. Also, hopefully I can drag either Bowie or Kang along as well, because I know they said that they also want to challenge themselves a little more and play these longer tees as well. So you might see them as guest appearances in some of these videos in the future, but so close. Oh, I'm so sad. But at the same time, I'm pretty proud of myself. You know, shooting even first time is pretty respectable. We did get a lot of lucky shots, but the putter was working, except for that one stupid hole. If I could have just kept the putt solid throughout the entire round, we could have had it. But that is going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to the channel. If you enjoyed watching me just barely miss the cut on this video, please make me feel better in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up. Also, ring that notification bell so you can be notified when our next episode comes out. Until next time, guys. Cheers.